Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita mulakan kelas kita pada pagi ini dengan membaca ummul kitab Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Shiratal mustaqim. Shiratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, ampunkanlah dosa-dosa kami, ampunkanlah dosa kedua ibu bapa kami, dan kasihlah mereka sebagaimana mereka mengasihi kami di masa kecil. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu yang bermanfaat untuk diri kami, keluarga kami, agama kami, bangsa kami dan negara kami. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, berilah kepada kami kejayaan di dunia dan di akhirat. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, jadikanlah kami orang-orang yang bersyukur. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah, kita bersyukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Pada pagi ini kita dapat meneruskan kelas kita untuk minggu yang ke-13. Dan pada hari ini kita akan sambung apa yang kita berhenti pada minggu yang lepas, ya. Jadi untuk pengetahuan, saya masih tak sihat lagi sebenarnya. Sebab tu hari ini saya tak tunjukkan gambar, ya. Okay. Saya meneruskan kelas ni daripada rumah, insyaAllah. Okey. Jadi saya akan kongsikan tajuk sub-sub topik yang berikutnya pada hari ini. Okey, pada kelas yang lepas kita dah berhenti di sini. Dan insyaAllah kita akan sambung bermula daripada sinilah, ya. Okey, jadi untuk itu kita cuba tengok satu soalan daripada buku, ya, yang nama company itu adalah Hale and Sway. Okay, Hale and Sway. Saya dah bagi dia punya gambar tu dalam grup WhatsApp. So bolehlah kita tengok dia punya butir-butir tu, Hale and Sway tu. Siapa ada buku boleh refer dekat buku lah. Tak terang gambar tu. Siapa yang boleh ambil gambar yang lebih clear, sebab buku saya dah tak cantik lah. Buku saya dah comot. Okay, saya bacakan soalan dia. Hale acquired 8 million ordinary shares of Sway on 1st January X3 for 20 million. On that date, the retained profit of Sway was 10 million and there were no other reserves. The issued share capital of Sway is made up of 10 million ordinary shares. Given below are the statements of profit or loss for the year ended 31st December X4. Okay, acquisition berlaku pada 1 Januari X3, financial statement 31st December X4. Yang maknanya acquisition berlaku 2 tahun yang lalu. Okay, butir-butir. Turnover HALE 200 million, SWAY 150 million, cost of sale HALE 50 million, SWAY 40 million, gross profit HALE 150 million, SWAY 110 million, expenses HALE 25 million, SWAY 10 million, operating profit before tax HALE 125 million, and SWAY 100 million. Taxation HALE 50 million and SWAY 40 million, and profit for the year HALE 75 million and SWAY 60 million. Retained profit as at 1st January X4 HALE 35 million, SWAY 30 million, and dividend paid by HALE is 25 million. Additional information. Sales of HALE include sales to SWAY of 10 million. All these goods have been sold by SWAY. Jadi ada berlaku intercompany sale, intercompany purchase kat situ. Tetapi semua pembelian telah dijual semula by SWAY. Goodwill is not impaired. Required, prepare the consolidated statement of profit or loss and calculate the group retained profit on 1st January X4 and 31st December X4. Jadi itulah soalan dia. Jadi soalan dia sebenarnya soalan yang pendek dan agak simple tetapi kita cubalah kita cuba menjawabnya. Okay, so to answer this question, sila lihat nota yang saya tunjukkan ni. Okay, the percentage of holding. The percentage of holding is 80%. How do you know that it is 80%? Yeah, the question mentioned that Ash acquired 8 million out of 10 million ordinary shares. So 8 million out of 10 million ordinary shares is 80%. Okay, seterusnya kita boleh meneruskan dengan kita buat kita punya statement of profit or loss. Jadi macam mana kita nak buat kita punya statement of profit or loss? Okay, cuba kita lihat di sini Okay. So kita bermula dengan revenue. Okay, sebagaimana dalam kelas yang lalu saya sebutkan. Okay, mula-mula kita campur-campur saja. Okay, tapi kat sini kita tak bolehlah buat macam tu sebab kita nak menjawab soalan. Okay, so what we are doing is we add the revenue and the revenue. We add the revenue of the parent and revenue of the subsidiary together, 200 and 150, and then we minus the intercompany sales here. Intercompany sales. The company sales is not recognized by the group. It can be recognized by the company but cannot be recognized by the group. We are preparing financial statement for the group. So because of that, we eliminate 10 million. And then the same goes to cost of sale. We add together the cost of sale of the parent and cost of sale of the subsidiary, 50 plus 40, and we have to minus 10. Okay, we minus 10 here means we deduct, because it is intercompany purchase. Okay, dalam revenue kita panggil intercompany sales, dalam cost of sale kita panggil intercompany purchase. Okay, so sama juga kalau intercompany sale tadi is not recognized by the group, intercompany purchase pun is not recognized by the group. Okay, so we need to eliminate. Jadi samalah, kita eliminate dekat revenue, kita eliminate dekat cost of sale. Seterusnya dapatlah kita gross profit. Sebanyak 260 juta. Okey, seterusnya kita ada expenses. So expenses ni tak ada apa-apa adjustment. Kita campurkan saja expenses of the parent and expenses of the subsidiary. So dapatlah kita 35 million. Seterusnya profit before tax 235 million. Seterusnya kita ada taxation. Kita ada taxation dan kita campurkan taxation of the parent dan taxation of the subsidiary. So kita dapat 90 million. Seterusnya kita dapat profit after tax 135 million. So out of 135 million, not all are belong to the parent. Some belong to the parent and some belong to the non-controlling interest. Okay, to find the profit that is belong to non-controlling interest, ataupun kita panggil profit attributable to non-controlling interest, we need to know what is the amount of profit. What is the amount of profit of subsidiary based on the question. Based on the question. So based on the question, how much is the profit? How much is the profit of the subsidiary from the question? From the question, it is 60,000 current year profit. So we take the current year profit 60,000 times percentage of non-controlling interest, that is 20%. So we get 12 million. 135 minus 12 million equal to 123 million. So parent punya 123 million and NCI is 12 million. Okay, next. We want to know what is the amount of retained profit brought down. Retained profit brought down comprise of retained profit of H and retained profit of S. Okay, so retained profit of H from the question brought down, brought down is 35 million. Whereas retained profit of S, S brought down is equal to 30 million. Equal to 30 million. However, 30 million is before, 30 million is before minus the retained earning on the date of acquisition. Because the profit exists on the date of acquisition, we have used, we have utilized to calculate the goodwill, and that profit is not available for distribution. It's not available for distribution. Therefore, we need to minus that. Okay, so 30 million profit brought down of S minus retained profit on the date of acquisition 10 million and multiply by 80%. So we get 16 million. 16 million plus 35 million is equal to 51 million. Okay, 51 million. And then we need to calculate NCI. Okay, so what is the amount of NCI brought down? NCI brought down is calculated based on how much is ordinary share of subsidiary available on the date of opening balance. Opening balance means 1st January X4. So on 1st January X4, the ordinary share capital is 10 million and the percentage of NCI is 20%. So 10 million times 20% equal to 2 million. And then retained profit brought down of the subsidiary. Profit brought down of subsidiary. Retained profit brought down of the subsidiary 30 million times 20%. Yeah, 30 million times 20% equal to 6 million. And lastly, okay, the total amount of retained profit brought down is, the total amount of NCI brought down is 8 million. Okay, 8 million. So what is next? Next is to prepare the consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year ended 31st December X6. Okay, so because we know the amount of balance brought down of group retained profit just now, and also the non-controlling interest brought down, okay, of 51 million and 8 million respectively, and then we add the profit for the year based on our calculation just now. Okay, for the group it is 123 million, and for the non-controlling interest is 12 million. And then for the group, Ash has paid 25 million as dividend, and for the NCI, S has not paid any dividend. So at the end of the year, the balance carried down of group retained profit is 149, and the balance of NCI is 20. Okay, class? Any question?
No.
No question, yeah? Okay. And then if you have no question, we go to second part of the topics. Second part of the topics in the statement of profit or loss. Okay, that is, okay, number one, acquisition of subsidiary during the year. Yeah, acquisition of subsidiary during the year. We have covered also this one in our statement of financial position. Yeah, acquisition of subsidiary during the year. Actually, the company can acquire another company at any time. Yeah, not necessarily 1st January or 31st December or 30th June or 1st April or 31st March and so on. Okay, actually you can acquire at any time. A business combination may take place during the current period. The subsidiary's current year profit that will form the group profit will be the profit earned after it becomes a subsidiary. Okay, so the issue is when you acquire the subsidiary in the middle of the year. For example, you acquire on 1st March. Yeah, you acquire on 1st March. Sedangkan subsidiary ni dah exist dah. Company tu dah exist daripada Januari pun dah ada. Dah making profit for the whole year. Not only starting from 1st March. Tetapi because you acquire starting on 1st March, you can only recognize the profit of subsidiary starting from 1st March. You cannot start earlier. Okay, because in January, the subsidiary is not yours. It's not their subsidiary. Okay, the subsidiary's current year profit that will form the group profit will be the profit earned after it becomes a subsidiary. The results, that is the sales, the cost of sales, the income, the expenses, the taxes of the subsidiary acquired during the year will be consolidated from the date it becomes a subsidiary. Remember that. Okay. For example, if the subsidiary was acquired on 1st March X9 and the financial year end of the group is 31st December X9, only the results of the operations of subsidiary from 1st March X9 will be incorporated in the consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. You can see this timeline. We call this timeline. You can see there the balance brought down on 1st January X9 and the balance carried down on 31st December X9. And we can see also in the middle of the year, the first quarter of the year, acquisition date is ataupun kita panggil acquisition date ni 1st March X9. 1st March X9. Okay. So we can imagine that if the profit of the company is 12 million for that particular year, how much is profit belong to the period 1st January until 1st March, and how much is the profit that is belong to the period from 1st March to 31st December. So we must have certain formula to calculate the profit under the pre-acquisition period, that is 2 months, and post-acquisition period 10 months. Okay. And the issues related to that is preference shares in subsidiary. Preference shares in subsidiary. Because when we purchase the shares of the subsidiary, sometimes we also purchase not only the ordinary share but also the preference share. So if the preference share were acquired during the year, the preference dividends due to maknanya the preference dividend paid by the subsidiary, the subsidiary pay dividend. The subsidiary pay dividend, can the parent recognize that dividend? Can the parent recognize that dividend? It depends on when the subsidiary is paying the dividend. If the subsidiary is paying dividend on 1st February, for example, 1st February, because acquisition happened on 1st March. If the subsidiary pay preference dividend on 1st February, as long as it is not later than 28 February, the parent cannot recognize because the parent does not exist on that period. So kita baca seterusnya. The preference dividend due for the period prior to the purchase are excluded from the group profit. Jadi kita tak nak dividen, kita tak nak dividen yang dibayar oleh subsidiary, dividen yang dibayar oleh subsidiary pada tarikh sebelum acquisition. Secondly, the second issue is dividend paid by subsidiary during the year. Acquisition during the year, kemudian dividend paid by the subsidiary during the year. If the dividends were paid before the shares were acquired, the acquirer would not get the dividend. On the other hand, if the dividend were paid after the shares were acquired, the acquirer would receive its dividend in proportion to its holding. Appropriate adjustments have to be made for the dividends to arrive at the profit of the subsidiary attributable to non-controlling interest. Jadi maknanya sekiranya dividen tadi dibayar sebelum acquisition, jadi acquirer ni, parent ni, dia tak akan dapat dia punya bahagian dividen. Tetapi kalau dividen tu dibayar selepas ordinary share dan preference share was acquired, the acquirer will receive the dividend. Acquirer akan terima dividen dan akan catat dia sebagai revenue. Kemudian apakah kesan dia juga terhadap non-controlling interest? Kesan dia adalah certain percentage of the preferred dividend is belong to non-controlling interest. So bila kita kira non-controlling interest, macam di atas tadi kita kira non-controlling interest, kita kali dengan profit for the year kali percentage. So pada kali ini kita kena allocate awal-awal kita punya preference dividend. Preference dividend of subsidiary itu, kita mula-mula kita dapatkan profit after tax of subsidiary as per question. Kemudian kita tolak dengan preference dividend untuk dapatkan profit available for ordinary shareholders. Nanti kita akan tunjuklah calculation tu ya. Okey. Kemudian preference dividend tadi kita akan agihkan mengikut percentage yang ada pada non-controlling interest. Pada masa yang sama, non-controlling interest dapat juga bahagian daripada profit available for ordinary shareholders. Okey. Kita tengok example yang ada di bawah ni supaya kita boleh nampak ataupun saya boleh tunjukkan juga dekat atas ni simple simple sample ya. Simple example. Okay, simple example supaya you boleh nampak. Okay, kat sini. Okay. Kita terus pada percentage of holding ya. Ini simple example. Okay, H sama dengan 80%. NCI sama dengan 20%. Ini ordinary ordinary dia. OSC. Okay. OSC. Lepas tu PSC. Preference share capital. Okay, H. And 70%. NCI sama dengan 30%. Okey. Kemudian kita ada profit after tax ni. Profit after tax of S. Ya. Profit after tax of S ni kita ada amount dia sebanyak 10,000. 100,000 sebanyak 100,000. Okay, kemudian ada tolak dengan preference dividend. Dividend for the year ni adalah sebanyak 20,000. Okay, dan bakinya adalah profit available for ordinary shareholders. Okay, profit available for ordinary shareholders sebanyak 80,000. Kita tengok daripada data yang ada ni, kita nak calculate berapakah nilai NCI. Yang berapakah nilai NCI kat sini. Okay. Jadi disebabkan ada preference dividend tadi sebanyak 20,000 dan NCI ni dia ada 30% interest in preference share. So dia akan mengambil 30% daripada dividen ni, ya. So kita kena kali dengan 30%. Jadi bila kita kali dengan 30%, dia akan dapat jawapan dia kat situ, ya. Okey, kita akan dapat jawapan dia 20 1000 times 30% sama dengan 6000. Okay. And 6000. Kemudian baki profit tadi yang kita kata profit available for ordinary shareholders tadi. Okay. Kita akan kali. Kita akan kali dengan 20%. NCI ni ada 20% interest in ordinary share. Okay. Dia ada 20% interest in ordinary share. So 80,000 times 20%. Ya. 80,000 times 20% sama dengan berapa? 8 kali 2, 16. 16,000. Dia ada 16,000. Okay. Jadi total NCI kita adalah sebanyak 16 campur 6 sama dengan 22,000. Contoh simple lah ya, macam mana kita nak calculate ya. Contoh simple macam mana kita nak calculate NCI kita. Okey. Jadi yang di bawah tu kita akan teruskan lagi. Okey. So untuk calculation ni ada apa-apa soalan tak? Okey, kalau tak ada kita teruskan dengan example yang ada. So the example is from the book in page 480. On 1st January X3, S had the following items in its accounts. Ordinary share capital 5 million, 14% preference share capital. 14% preference share capital. So biasanya persen tu kita letak dalam bentuk percentage. Preference share capital ada 1 million. And then retained profit 40,000. On 1st April X3, Ash purchased 750,000 of the 1 million issued ordinary shares and 200,000 of 1 million preference shares of S. Okay, jadi daripada ayat ini kita dah tahu Ash purchase sebanyak 75% of the ordinary share and 20% of the preference share. Okay, maknanya apa? Maknanya NCI untuk ordinary share sebanyak 25% dan NCI untuk preference share sebanyak 80%. Given below are the statements of profit or loss of Ash and its subsidiary S for the year ended 31st December X3. Okay, so butir-butirnya kita ada revenue, daripada revenue sampailah kepada profit after tax. Okay, so kita lihat di sini revenue of the two companies ya. H revenue dia 1.4 million, S 1.2 million, tak jauh sangat Cost of sale H 800,000, S 700,000. Gross profit H 600,000 and S 500,000. Operating expenses 400,000 for H and 220,000 for S. Okey, kemudian kita pergi kepada operating profit before tax 200,000 for H and 280,000 for S. Lepas tu dapat dividen pula daripada S 32,800. Okay, 32,800. I highlighted with yellow color here. Okay, because this is an intercompany transactions. Kemudian kita dapatlah profit before tax 232,800 for the parent H and 280,000 for S. Kemudian taxation 100,000 for H, 130,000 for S. Profit after tax 132,800 for H and 150,000 for S. Next, kita ada retain profit as at 1st January X3. Untuk H 20,000, untuk S 40,000. Preferred dividend H 10,000, S 14,000. Seterusnya kita ada ordinary dividend paid 20,000 for H and 40,000 for S. Okay, jadi untuk preferred dividend dengan ordinary dividend of S tu saya pun highlighted dengan warna kuning. Saya highlightkan warna kuning. Sebab apa? Sebab dia berkaitan dengan dividend from S yang di atas tu. Okay, dividend from S yang di atas. Okay, jadi cuba kita congak-congak sikit. Daripada preferred dividend paid sebanyak 14,000 tadi, berapa banyak yang harus dibayar kepada H? Daripada 14,000 tadi. 14,000 preferred dividend yang dibayar oleh S, berapa banyak yang sepatutnya dibayar kepada H. Jadi daripada situ kita boleh calculate iaitu berapa banyak. H hanya memegang sebanyak 20%. 20% daripada 14,000. So 20% kali dengan 14, kita dapat 2,800. 2,800. Manakala ordinary dividend pula, S bayar sebanyak 40,000. 40,000. Jadi berapa banyak yang perlu dibayar kepada H? Percentage dia adalah 75%. So 75% kali dengan 40,000, kita dapat 30,000. Kita dapat 30,000. Jadi 30,000 tadi kita campur dengan 2,800. Dapat tak 32,800? Jadi keseluruhan 32,800 tadi sebenarnya adalah dividen daripada S dan telah dibuktikan dengan calculation congak kita sekejap tadi. 2,800 preferred dividend dan 30,000 ordinary dividend daripada S. So amount ini kita akan eliminate bagi preparation of group profit or loss. Untuk consolidated statement of profit or loss kita eliminate. Untuk company H tak ada masalah, dia boleh iktiraf. Tetapi untuk group dia tak boleh iktiraf lah. Income from subsidiary ni kita tak boleh iktiraf bagi group. Additional information, profit are deemed to accrue evenly throughout the year dan as paid the dividends in the period after acquisition. Okay, you are required to prepare the consolidated statement of profit or loss for the group. Okay, so untuk menjawab yang ni kita bermula dengan mengadakan satu timeline begini. Okay, kita buat satu timeline. Kita nak tunjukkan kat sini apakah dia amount of profit pada tarikh 1 hari bulan 1 X3 dan apakah amount of profit pada 31st December X3. Okay, tadi kita ada butir-butir dia pada 1st January X3. So, ordinary share capital pada 1 January X3 5,000. 31st December masa kekal 5,000. Okay, preference share 1,000 pada awal tahun, pada hujung tahun juga kekal 1,000. Macam mana dengan profit? Retain profit on 1st January X3 is 40. 40 ni 40,000 lah, 40. Kemudian at the end of the year 190. 190. Jadi berapa pertambahan daripada awal tahun kepada akhir tahun? Jadi sepanjang tahun daripada 1 Januari X3 sampai 31 Disember X3 terdapat penambahan profit sebanyak 150,000. Jadi profit for the year sebanyak 150,000. Sebanyak 150,000. Jadi persoalannya sekarang ni kita nak cari kita nak cari berapakah amount profit pada 1 hari bulan April X3. Sebab acquisition berlaku pada 1 April X3. Boleh tak kita ambil profit pada 1 January X3? Jawapan kita memanglah kita kata boleh. Tapi angka tu tak tepat. Boleh tak kita ambil 31 December X3? Tak boleh. Sebab itu dah hujung tahun. So kita kena calculate berapakah retain profit pada 1 April X3. Jadi pada 1 April X3, kita punya retain profit, kita ambil retain profit brought forward sebanyak 40 tu, kita campur dengan current year profit, tapi kita tak boleh ambil semua. Kita kena ambil setakat 3 bulan saja. Jadi retain profit kita adalah 40,000 plus 150,000 times 3/12. 150,000 times 3/12. Jadi 150,000 bagi 4. 150,000 bagi 4 berapa? 150 bagi 2, 75. 150 bagi 2, 75. Kalau bagi 4, guna kalkulator sikit. $150 kali 3 bagi 12. Sama dengan 37.5. 37.5 campur dengan 40 sama dengan 77.5. Jadi retain profit pada 1 hari bulan April X3 adalah sebanyak 77.5. Jadi nanti bila kita jawab soalan kita jangan tergesa-gesa kita ambil profit pada 1 Januari. Ataupun jangan kita ambil 31st December sebab acquisition berlaku pada 1 April. Tetapi ini adalah untuk ilmu pengetahuan lah. Setakat 3 semester kita ada tajuk ni, masih tak ada lagi soalan yang berbentuk acquisition during the year ni. Acquisition pada pertengahan tahun ni kita tak tanya lagi dalam soalan. Okey, seterusnya. Apakah jawapan yang seterusnya? Kita tengok working for consolidated statement of profit or loss. Okey. Jadi revenue of the parent kita ambil full. Revenue of the subsidiary kita ambil 9/12. Cost of sale of the parent kita ambil full. Cost of sale of the subsidiary kita ambil 9/12. Operating expenses of the parent full. Operating expenses of the subsidiary 9/12. Taxation of the parent full. Taxation of the subsidiary 9/12. Jadi kat situ ini untuk working lah. Untuk pertama kali ni kita tunjukkan working. Untuk next time maknanya kita terus je kita buat kita punya statement of profit or loss. Terus pergi kita tunjukkan, we show the working in the statement of profit or loss. We don't have to waste our time because time is like a gold. Masa itu emas. Especially masa menjawab soalan peperiksaan. Masa menjawab hanya 3 jam. Jadi kita jangan bazirkan masa untuk membuat sesuatu yang tak diminta di dalam soalan. Kecuali kita ada masa lebih, bolehlah jawab lebih-lebih sikit. Tapi jangan kurang sangat jawapan tu sampai tak ada jawapan. Jangan kurang sangat sampai tak ada jawapan. Itu pun tak ada markah juga. So consolidated statement of profit or loss of Ash and its subsidiary S for the year ended 31st December X3. Tadi kita dah tunjukkan. So kita simply buat macam ni je. Revenue 1.4 ataupun 1,400 plus 1,200 times 9/12. Then cost of sale also like that. Operating expenses also like that. Taxation also like that. At the end, we arrive at profit after after tax of 212,500. After we get the profit after tax, we have to allocate the profit to non-controlling interest also. Not only for the parent, but also for the non-controlling interest. So how much of the profit is belong to the non-controlling interest? Okay, I hope you remember that I have explained to you just now about the way to calculate the non-controlling interest. Okay, so from here, we want to calculate the non-controlling interest. Profit after tax of S for the current year is only for 9 months. That is 150,000 times 9/12 equal to 112,500. And then we minus the preferred dividend 14,000. This 14,000 we multiply with 80%, because 80% of the preference shares belong to non-controlling interest. Belong to the non-controlling interest. So it is 11,200. And the balance of the profit, 98,500. Yeah, profit available for ordinary shareholders. We multiply with 25%. Yeah, 25% is the percentage of non-controlling interest for ordinary share. So we get 24,625. 11,200 plus 24,625 equal to 35,825. Yeah, 35,825. So 35,825 is the amount of non-controlling interest for the year. Okay, now we go back to the statement of profit or loss. We have a profit after tax of 212,500 just now. We minus 35,825 for non-controlling interest. So the balance 176,675 is the profit belong to shareholders of H. Okay, class. Next, we need to prepare the statement of changes in equity. Okay, the statement of changes in equity. So for the statement of changes in equity, we normally are required, to prepare the two columns only. The first one is the column for group retained profit, and the second one is the column for non-controlling interest. So the balance brought down on 1st January X3 is only for the group retained profit, because the subsidiary S was acquired on 1st January. Was acquired on berapa bulan tadi? 1st April. Jadi pada 1 hari bulan April kita acquire dia. Jadi maknanya 1 Januari dia tak ada lagi. Kalau katakan 1 Januari acquire pun tak ada juga balance brought down. Sebab apa? Sebab untuk jadi brought down tu mesti ada carried down dulu. Mesti exist pada 31st December X2. Baru boleh wujud balance brought down. Okay. Jadi kalau dah ada pada 31st December X2, barulah kita kata ada brought down pada 1st January X3. Okay. So kita teruskan ya. Jadi balance brought down on 1st January X3 tadi memang kita ada satu saja profit. Kita ada satu saja profit, iaitu profit of H sebanyak 20,000. Okay. Kemudian ada acquisition of subsidiary tu, nanti kita tengok macam mana kita boleh dapat 2069,375. Besar amount tu 2 juta tu. 2,69,375. Ada calculation di bawah sekejap lagi. And then profit after tax yang kita calculate tadi, profit for the year 176,675 untuk group, and for the non-controlling interest 35,285. Kemudian dividend paid untuk parent 30,000, dividend paid untuk non-controlling interest sebanyak 21,200. Ini pun sekejap lagi kita akan tunjukkan macam mana kita dapat 21,200. Dan last sekali kita dapat balance carried down 31 December X3 untuk group sebanyak 166,675, for the non-controlling interest 2084,000 ataupun 2,084,000. Okay. Working for dividend, how do we get 21 million? How do we get 21 21,200. Soalan tadi 1000 ke million? Balik semula pada soalan ni. Soalan dia in thousand ni, tak ada million ni. So kita tak ada million lah. Okay. Jadi ordinary dividend tadi, ya, bukan 40 million tetapi 40,000. 40,000 kali dengan 25%, kita dapatlah 10,000. 10,000. Okay, kemudian preference share pula, preference dividend for NCI. 14K. 14,000. 14,000 times 80%. Jadi kita dapat amount berapa? Kita dapat 11.2 thousand. 11,200 lah maknanya. Okay. Kemudian total ni adalah 21.2K. 21,200. Itulah dia caranya kita mendapatkan 21,200. Macam mana pula untuk kita dapatkan NCI on acquisition date, iaitu pada 1 April 20X3. Apakah yang exist pada tarikh tersebut? Okey. Yang exist pada tarikh tersebut okey, apa yang exist pada tarikh tersebut? Yang exist pada tarikh tersebut adalah ordinary share. Jadi ordinary share sebanyak 5 juta. Okay, ordinary share ada 5 juta. So 5 juta kali dengan 25% equal to 1.25 million. 1.25 million. Ni NCI. And then preference share 1 million time 80% equal to 800,000. And then retain profit on 1st January X3 is 40,000 time 25% equal to 10,000. Okay. And profit for the year. Profit for the year until 31st March. Profit for the year until 31st March. So profit for the year is 150,000. 150,000. Kemudian kita kali dengan, sekejap saya alihkan ni. Tak perlulah saya alihkan. Okay. 150,000 time 3/12. 150,000 profit for the year time 3/12 time 25%. So kita dapat 9375. Okay. 9375. So 9375 is the profit attributable to non-control interest on the date of acquisition 1st April X3. Jadi kita dapat 2069375 sebagaimana yang di atas tadi. Okay, di atas. Itu yang menjadikan nilai non-control interest tu begitu besar sekali. 2084, 2,084,000. Okey kelas, ada apa-apa soalan kat situ? Okey, kita ambil 5 minit break sebelum kita sambung dengan impairment of goodwill. Okey, kita sambung lagi ya. Kita sambung dengan impairment of goodwill. Okey, impairment of goodwill. Jadi dalam kita belajar, semasa kita belajar dalam SOFP pun kita ada impairment of goodwill. Masa kita belajar dalam SOPL pun ada impairment of goodwill. Jadi kita nak letak di mana impairment of goodwill tu di dalam SOPL, ya. Okay, the non-controlling interest NCI can be measured in either of two ways, ya. Jadi yang pertamanya in proportion to the fair value of subsidiaries net asset on the date of acquisition. Ini yang selalu kita buat, ya. Yang selalu kita buat, kita calculate non-controlling interest berdasarkan kepada fair value of net asset. Kemudian yang kedua, at fair value of non-controlling interest. At fair value of non-controlling interest. Maknanya yang ini berdasarkan kepada fair value of share kali dengan number of share of NCI. Yang ini kita tak belajar. Untuk masa diploma ni kita tak belajar, masa degree insya-Allah lah kita akan belajar yang itu. Jadi untuk diploma ni kita tak nak student confuse, kita ajar satu method saja. Okay. Where the NCI is measured based on the fair value of the net asset of the subsidiary, the goodwill measured will be partial goodwill. Jadi goodwill tu hanyalah partial goodwill, sebahagian saja. And relate to the parent share only. Relate to the parent share only. Jadi goodwill yang ada tu adalah goodwill of the parent. Tak ada kaitan dengan non-controlling interest. Therefore, any impairment loss on goodwill that has to be written down ataupun written off will be charged against the parent's share of profit. Jadi maknanya kita tidak akan melibatkan non-controlling interest dalam impairment loss of goodwill. So impairment loss of goodwill hanya melibatkan retained profit of the parent sahaja. Okay. Tapi kita cerita sikit jugalah bagaimana pula keadaannya kalau kita gunakan metod yang kedua, iaitu fair value of non-controlling interest. Where the non-controlling interest is measured based on the fair value of the non-controlling interest on the acquisition date, the goodwill measured will be full goodwill. It will be full goodwill ataupun full amount and relate to both the parent and NCI. Therefore, any impairment loss on goodwill that has to be written off will be charged against the parent share of profit and the non-controlling interest in proportion to their holding interest. And the amount written off against the non-controlling interest will be based on the NCI ownership in the subsidiary. Yeah, for example, if the NCI percentage is 20%, then 20% of the impaired goodwill, okay, we are going to charge the non-controlling interest. But this one, again, not taught at diploma level. Okay, let's go through this example in page 484. Ash acquired 80,000 ordinary share of S on 1st January X4 when the equity of S was 100,000 ordinary share valued at 200,000 and retained profit 100,000. Jadi kita ada 100,000. S ada 100,000 ordinary share, tetapi dia issue pada harga RM2 lah. Issue pada harga RM2, sebab tu dia dapat 200,000. Okay. Kemudian Ash paid 270,000 to acquire its holding in S. Jadi consideration transferred untuk membeli 80,000 saham tadi adalah 270,000. The statement of profit or loss. The statement of profit or loss as at 31 December expire are as follows. Okay, jadi kita tengok kat sini Statement of profit or loss bermula dengan revenue 1 120,000 of the parent, subsidiary 100,000, cost of sale 50,000 parent, 40,000 subsidiary, operating expenses 20,000 parent, 20,000 subsidiary, taxation 15,800 parent, 12,400 subsidiary, and then profit for the year 34,200 for the parent, 27,600 for the subsidiary. And we have also figure for retained profit at 1st January X5, that is 205,600. Okay, for the parent, and 140,000 for the subsidiary. There were no intra-group transaction. No intra-group transaction. Jadi kita cuma nak cerita pasal goodwill saja. So macam mana kita nak record impairment of goodwill tadi dalam statement of profit or loss yang ini. Okay, so the answer is, we calculate the goodwill first. How much is the goodwill? Consideration transferred is 270,000. And then the fair value of net asset comprised of ordinary share capital 200,000, retained profit 100,000. Total 300,000. Fair value of net asset is 300,000. And then multiply with 20% to get the non-controlling interest. So the non-controlling interest is 60,000 plus 270,000 consideration transferred. We get 330,000 fair value of investment. Fair value of investment 330,000. We compare with fair value of net asset 300,000. We have a goodwill here 30,000. And out of 30,000, 5,000 of the goodwill are impaired, leaving a balance of 25,000. So now we want to incorporate the impairment of goodwill. We want to incorporate the impairment of goodwill in our statement of profit or loss, where we should put this impairment of goodwill. So consolidated statement of profit or loss of H&S for the year ended 31st December X5. Okay, revenue of the parent plus revenue of the subsidiary 220,000. Cost of sale of the parent plus cost of sale of the subsidiary 90,000. Gross profit is 130,000. Operating expenses of the parent 20 plus subsidiary 20 equal to 40,000. Then we put here impairment loss. Impairment loss is an expense for the group. That is 5,000. That is 5,000. Okay. And then profit before tax 85,000. Taxation 15.8 for the parent and 12.4 for the group, for the subsidiary. So altogether 28,200, and profit after tax is 56,800. Profit attributable to non-controlling interest. Now we need to calculate this 5,520 ni, kita kena calculate macam mana kita boleh dapat. Okay. Here is 27,600 times 20%. 27,600 times 20%. So kita dapatlah amount dia 5,520. So daripada total 56,800, 5,520 belongs to non-controlling interest. Ataupun bahasa yang lebih betul lagi, attributable to non-controlling interest. Bakinya 51,280 attributable to shareholders of the parent. And then the extract of the statement of changes in equity for the year ended 31st December X5. Okay, so we know about the profit just now. We just enter the profit first. Profit for the year 51,280 and non-controlling interest 5,520. Okay, so the working again. We want to show the working again here. Okay, how to calculate the profit after tax of S that is attributable to the non-controlling interest. It is 20,600 times 20% equal to 5,520. Okay, and then retained profit brought forward. B is retained profit brought forward. So retained profit brought forward of the parent. Retained profit brought forward of parent. Retained profit brought forward of parent amounting to 205,600. Okay. And then retained profit brought forward of S. Okay, retained profit brought forward of S. Sebanyak berapa? 140,000 adalah retained profit brought forward. Tetapi kita ada retained profit on the date of acquisition sebanyak 100. Jadi kena tolaklah 100 tadi. So 140,000 minus 100 equal to 40,000. Okay, 40,000 times 80%. 40,000 times 80%. So kita dapatlah 32,000. Kita dapat 32,000. Okey, seterusnya kita ada kita campurkanlah dua tadi. Campurkan dua tadi. Bila campurkan dua tadi 205,600 campur dengan 32,000. So kita dapatlah 237,600. Okay, 237,600. So 237,600 kita masukkan dalam consolidated statement of changes in equity. Okay, opening balance. Itu campur dengan profit for the year. Dapatlah 31st December X5 balance sebanyak 288,880. Okay. Dan last kali untuk soalan inilah. Last kali kita ada NCI. NCI kita adalah NCI brought down ataupun brought forward. Okay. NCI brought forward kita berapa? NCI brought forward terdiri daripada ordinary share capital 200,000 times 20%. Kita dapat 40,000. Campur dengan profit for the year. Profit for the year dia daripada tempoh 1 Januari X4 sampai 31st December X4. Okay, jadi berapakah amount dia? Sekejap ya, kita tengok sini. Profit tadi 140,000. Ya, profit 140,000. 140,000 kali 20%. Sekejap ya. 140 kali 0.2. Okay, 140,000 kali dengan 20%, sama dengan 28. ribu. Atas tadi kita ada 40, bawah 28, jadi totalnya 68. 68,000 So, NCI brought forward adalah 68,000. So, 68 kita betulkan balik yang atas ni 68. Sini jadi 73. 73,520. Okey. Jadi kita punya selesailah kita punya statement of changes in equity for the year ended 31st December X5. Okey, seterusnya kita nak tengok tinggal satu lagi bahagian yang kita nak cover, iaitu other comprehensive income. Other comprehensive income. Where there is other comprehensive income, OCI, the portion of the profit for the year and other comprehensive income attributable to the non-controlling interest have to be disclosed. Jadi apakah contoh other comprehensive income ni? Contohnya adalah revaluation surplus. Contohnya adalah revaluation surplus. So revaluation surplus ni kita letak dekat dua tempat lah. Satu dekat other comprehensive income, satu lagi dekat kita punya equity. Okay. Hash acquired 8 million ordinary share of S on 1st January X3 for 20 million. Hash acquired 8 million ordinary shares of S on 1st January X3 for 20 million. 20 million. On that date, the retained profit of S was 10 million and there were no other reserve. The issued share capital of S is made up of 10 million ordinary shares. 10 million ordinary shares. Jadi dia beli 8 juta daripada 10 juta. Maksudnya dia beli 80%. On the acquisition date, the fair value of a non-depreciable asset was 1 million more than its carrying amount. Jadi pada tarikh acquisition, salah satu daripada aset yang tidak ada depreciation, maknanya tanah lah, biasanya land lah, tak ada depreciation ni, non-depreciable asset, land, was 1 million more than its carrying amount. Jadi land kita ni ada ARR sebanyak 1 million. During the current year, the fair value of a piece of land increased by another 500,000. Jadi pada tahun semasa dia naik lagi sebanyak 500,000. And the group discloses the land at fair value. At the same time, the fair value of a non-depreciable asset of H increased by 800,000. Okay. Jadi ini saja cerita dia dalam soalan ni. So ada increase sebanyak 500,000 pada tahun semasa. Yang pada tahun semasa inilah yang kita panggil sebagai other comprehensive income. Yang pada tarikh acquisition tu kita dah ambil dia sebagai pre-acquisition reserve. Pre-acquisition reserve. Tetapi yang wujud pada tahun semasa itu adalah kita panggil sebagai other comprehensive income. So ada dua other comprehensive income. Yang pertama 500,000 subsidiary punya. Yang kedua parent punya 800,000. Given below ada statement of profit or loss for the year ended 31st December X4. Okay. Soalan dia macam tadi juga tu. So turnover 200-150. Cost of sale 50-40. Expenses 25-10. Taxation 50-40 dan profit for the year 75-60. Okay. So kita cuma nak tunjukkan dekat mana kita nak letakkan other comprehensive income dan adakah other comprehensive income tadi menambahkan nilai NCI. Additional information, sales of H include sales to S of 10 million. All the goods have been sold by S. Yang ni intercompany sale. Kemudian yang kedua, goodwill is not impaired. Okay. Required prepare the consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 31st December X4. Okay. So percentage tadi tak payah tunjuk lah. Sebab kita dah tahu amount dia adalah 80% of the parent, 20% NCI. So kita start dengan kita prepare kita punya consolidated statement of profit or loss. So turnover kita ataupun revenue kita 200 parent, 150 subsidiary, tolak 10 intercompany sale. Cost of sale sama juga 50 campur 40 tolak 10 intercompany sales. Gross profit, lepas tu expenses, parent campur subsidiary. Taxation, parent campur subsidiary. Lepas tu kita dapat profit after tax. Seterusnya ada other comprehensive income, surplus on fair value of non-depreciable asset. Ada dua item, 800 campur 500 sama dengan 1,300. So 1,300. Okay. Menjadikan total comprehensive income adalah 136,300. Okay. Selepas tu kita kena calculate pula profit after tax attributable to. Okay. So attributable to non-controlling interest. Jadi non-controlling interest kita akan tengok berapa banyak profit after tax of S before any adjustment. Maknanya daripada soalan berapa tadi kita dapati profit tu sebanyak 60,000. Kita kali dengan 20%. 60,000 kali 20% sama dengan 12,000. Kemudian total comprehensive income kita pula. Okey. Total comprehensive income kita pula non-controlling interest yang 12,000 tadi, dia akan dapat tambahan daripada fair value adjustment dalam subsidiary tadi. Ada ARR kan tadi, ada 500,000 kali dengan 20%. 500,000 kali dengan 20%. Jadi 500,000 kali 20% dapatlah 100,000. So 12 juta campur dengan 100,000 sama dengan 12 juta 100,000. So untuk total profit after tax, total profit after tax pembahagian dia 12,000 untuk NCI, 123,000 untuk parent. Okey. Manakala total comprehensive income pula 12,100 untuk NCI, 124,200 untuk parent. Okey. Saya sebut ribu-ribu saja tapi sebenarnya dia juta lah. Ada sebab dia ada angka ribu. Jadi untuk menjawab soalan ni, kalau angka juta-juta kita letaklah atas ni ribu, supaya kita dapat jawab. Kita kurangkan lah, kita kurangkan. Tapi kalau nak tulis juta boleh tak? Boleh juga, mana 340 juta. Buatlah tambah lagi 3 kosong. 80 juta tambah lagi kosong. Boleh begitu. Dan sini pula 12.1 juta. Okey. So ada apa persoalan tak? Basically kita dah habislah silibus kita ni. Ada apa persoalan? Ada apa persoalan? Jadi saya nak awak baca ya. Bagi yang tak hadir tu boleh tengoklah video ni. Boleh tengok video ni nanti bila dah upload. Nak upload ni pun kadang susah juga ya. Tengoklah pada internet line, ada internet line atau tidak, sebab kena download dulu. Kemudian kita upload pula dekat YouTube baru boleh bagi link Sebab biasanya kalau saya bagi link terus daripada apa ni, MS Team ni memang semua orang tak boleh buka dan dia tak ada notification pun pada saya kalau ada siapa-siapa request. Jadi begitulah keadaannya. Jadi lebih senang bagi saya kalau saya download kemudian saya upload ke YouTube supaya awak boleh tengok kat situ dan boleh tengok lagi sampailah waktu exam Okey. Maknanya sebelum exam lah, bukan waktu exam nak tengok YouTube Okey, jadi tak ada soalan Tak ada. Jadi untuk masa yang sikit lagi ni saya nak tunjukkan soalan final exam lah. Soalan final exam. Jadi soalan ni sepenuhnya kita akan discuss nanti pada hari Rabu Tapi saya tunjukkanlah soalan dia dulu. Cuba tengok saya dah bagi ke belum dalam grup. Belum Okey, saya dah masuk dalam grup soalan dia. Okey, jadi ini adalah soalan dia. Ini soalan sebenar Soalan sebenar Februari. Soalan sebenar Februari. Mungkin hari tu kita dah discuss soalan satu tapi nanti insyaAllah minggu depan kita ada 1 minggu lagi untuk kita all out lah discuss soalan final exam sebelum final exam yang sebenar. Jadi kalau tak silap paper awak pada 14 14 hari bulan kalau tak silap saya. Betul ke? Dah tengok jadual? Okey, yang ini adalah soalan 5 30 markah iaitu soalan on statement of profit or loss. Okey, jadi kita tengoklah dalam 10 minit ni tengok soalan. Given below are the draft statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity extracted for the year ended 31st December 2020 of Aman and Damai. Ada dua company Aman Damai So kita tengoklah dekat situ revenue of Aman, revenue of Damai kat situ. Okey, kemudian cost of sale of Aman and Damai, gross profit pula, lepas tu admin expenses. Okey. Kemudian kita ada selling and distribution. Kita ada finance cost. Dan kita ada gain on disposal of machine. Kita nampak kat sini. Gain on disposal of machine ni kita kena hati-hatilah. Dua-dua ni ada gain on disposal of machine. Mungkin salah satu daripada dua nanti adalah sale of machine between members of the group. Kemudian ada income ni pun mungkin ada potensi untuk ada income tu daripada subsidiary contohnya. Okay. Kemudian kita ada profit before tax, kita ada taxation dan kita ada profit after tax. Diteruskan dengan extract statement of changes in equity. Return profit as at 1st January. Okay, ada kat situ untuk dua-dua company Aman dan Damai. Profit for the year pun diberi juga. Pastikan profit for the year ni sama dengan atas ni. Kemudian dividend paid. Dividend paid ordinary, Aman bayar ordinary saja. Damai bayar ordinary dengan preference. Jadi kita kena tengok ni 600 400 ni adakah ianya berkaitan dengan other income. Adakah dia berkaitan dengan other income di dalam Aman. Sebab apa? Sebab apa kita kena jangka begitu? Sebabnya subsidiary dah declare dividend sebanyak 600 dan 400. Additional information on 1st January 2019, Aman Berhad acquired 784 million ordinary shares of 980 million. Okey, yang ni saya minta awak calculate lah berapa persen. 784 bagi 980 berapa persen? Berapa persen kelas?
80.
Okey, 80%. Bagus. 80% ordinary share. Aman, Aman also acquired 40% preference shares in Damai. Jadi dia acquire dua. 80% ordinary share, 40% preference share. Macam tu. So maknanya dividen kat atas ni tadi. Dividen kat atas tadi. Ordinary dividen 600,000. Kan? 600,000 ni kali dengan 80% akan pergi kepada Aman. Manakala preference share pula, preference dividen 400,000 kali dengan 40% akan pergi kepada Aman. Jadi kita tengoklah berapa banyak. 600 kali dengan 0.8. Kita dapat 480. Manakala 400 kali 0.4. Kita dapat 160 campur 480. Jadi totalnya adalah 640. Jadi most probably daripada other income tu sebahagiannya adalah daripada dividen yang diterima daripada Damai. Okay. So additional information tadi, okay. On that date, Damai had the following balance. Ordinary share capital 980 million. Preference share capital 5 million. 10% debentures 20 million. Retained profit 7.5 million. Other reserve 2.5 million. During the year, Damai sold goods worth 24 million to Aman, making a profit of 25% on cost. 25% on cost. Jadi banyak tu. 25% on cost. By 31st December 2020, 2 million worth of goods were still in the closing inventory of Aman Berhad. Okey. Jadi kat sini dalam additional information nombor 2 ni ada 3. Ada 3 jawapan yang kita perlu buat. Yang pertama, 24 million ni adalah intercompany sale. Kena tolak dekat revenue. Yang kedua, the same amount juga adalah intercompany purchase. Kena tolak dekat cost of sale. Yang ketiga, 2 million baki yang tak terjual ni. Kali dengan percentage of markup tadi. Dikira sebagai unrealized profit. So, berapa banyak unrealized profit kita? Unrealized profit, formula dia adalah unsold goods 2 million kali dengan 25 bagi berapa? Bagi 100 ataupun bagi 125? Markup. Apakah formula markup? 25 bagi 125 ke 25 bagi 100? Last sikit je lagi. 4 minit lagi kita akan bersurai. Yeah. 125? Ya betul. 25 bagi 125. Okey. Sebab dia menggunakan markup. Jadi kita jangan tersilap bila dia sebut perkataan cost maknanya markup. Kalau on selling price ataupun on invoice price itu dikira sebagai margin. So kena bagi dengan 100. Okey. Jadi awal-awal lagi bila kita baca additional information nombor 2 ni kita dah tahu ada 3 perkara tadi intercompany sale, intercompany purchase dan juga unrealized profit. So unrealized profit tadi kita akan campur balik dalam cost of sale. Seterusnya, nombor 3. In 2020, Damai Berhad sold a machine to Aman Berhad at a profit of 500,000. Okay, yang ni adalah unrealized profit. The machine is depreciated at 25% per annum using straight line method with no residual value and calculated on yearly basis. Okay, jadi unrealized profit untuk mesin ni, unrealized profit untuk mesin dia tak ada dalam SOPL. Kan? Dia tak tunjuk dalam SOPL. Tapi dia akan tunjuklah nanti dalam calculation of NCI. Sebab siapa yang jual ni? Yang jual Damai. Damai ni ada NCI. Jadi nanti kita akan tolak unrealized profit tu. Kita akan tolak unrealized profit daripada profit after tax of Damai. Masa kita nak kira NCI. Okey, tetapi satu lagi ni yang over provided depreciation ni. Over provided depreciation sebanyak 20% daripada 500,000 setiap tahun. Jadi yang itu kita akan tolak daripada kita punya admin expense. Kita akan tolak daripada admin expense sebanyak 100,000 selama 5 tahun. Okey. Tolak kita tolak sebab over provided. Kemudian nombor 4, Aman has not yet recorded dividend from Damai. Okey. Has not recorded yet. Jadi kita nak buat apa? Yang kita kira-kira tadi 480 campur dengan berapa tadi tu, kita masuk dan keluar balik. Dan kita masuk dan keluar balik. Sebab apa? Masuk tu untuk record, keluar balik sebab dia intercompany. Okay? Jadi kalau tak tunjuk apa-apa pun tak ada masalah lah. Nombor 4 ni. Ya. Tapi untuk nak tunjukkan yang awak tahu, kena masuk dan kena keluar. Ya. Tapi kalau tak tunjuk apa-apa pun tak ada potong markah. Tapi kita kena tahulah, Aman has not yet recorded the dividend income from Damai Berhad. So maknanya dividen yang kita kira tadi 480 ya. Dengan berapa tadi? 120. Ya, 480. Reference tadi berapa Reference 400 kali 0.2 sama dengan 80. Campur dengan 600 kali 0.8. Ya. 600 kali 0.8. Okey, 480 tu adalah ordinary. Okey, kemudian 80 adalah preference. Jadi 560 totalnya. Okey. Jadi kita kena masukkan sebagai investment income, kemudian kita tolak balik sebagai intercompany transaction. Nombor 5, impairment test on goodwill recommended 1.2 million impairment for the year ended 31st December 2020. So kita akan masukkan itu dalam kita punya statement of profit or loss. Bagaimana example tadi? Nombor 6, the group policy is to measure the non-controlling interest at the proportion of fair value of the net asset of the subsidiary. Apa tujuannya? Kita ada nombor 6 ni untuk kita calculate non-controlling interest. Dan control interest brought down ni akan ada dalam statement of changes in equity. Soalan B. So prepare the consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income of Aman Berhad and Damai Berhad 31st December 2020. Okay. Sebanyak 20 markah. Dan prepare consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year ended 31st December 2020 showing the retained profit and non-controlling interest column only. Lihat total markah dia adalah sebanyak 30. Ya. Saya yakin awak boleh dapat 30 ni. Kalau kata tak dapat 30 pun dapat 25, 26, 27 insya-Allah. But you have to follow the flow, ya. Follow the flow. Kita buat ikut apa yang diajarkan insya-Allah. Okey. Jadi yang ni kita akan discuss nanti pada hari Rabu. Tapi saya nak awak cuba dululah. Ya. Saya nak awak cuba dulu. Okey kelas, saya rasa itu saja. Okey, kemudian untuk yang backup quiz tu dah bertanda. Jadi siapa nak tengok bolehlah tengok balik pada link tu. Telah ada dalam link tu dia punya dia punya markah kat situ. Siapa-siapa nak tengok lah ya, boleh tengok kat situ lah. Okey. Jadi sebelum kita bersurai, ada apa-apa soalan? Tak ada? Okey, kalau tak ada, kita tutup kelas kita pada pagi ini dengan surah Wal-As. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihat wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Okey.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.